Hey, just before we start, I just want to let you know I've added a couple of time lapses into this and also cut out some stuff just to kind of speed up the video a little bit, so I hope you enjoy this. Today it's going to be the Atari Cartridge, and it's going to be a much quicker video than yesterday. I know I said at the start of yesterday's video that video was going to be pretty fast, and then it ended up being pretty long again, but this time it's actually going to be a quick video. And there we have our basic shape of our cartridge. So again, I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to toggle some restrictions on these background images, just so they don't show up in renders, and we can't accidentally select them and move them out the way. And saying that, we kind of don't really need these anymore. The only thing we kind of need them for is for placing this little microchip that pokes out. If you've actually had an Atari cartridge in your hand, you know that it's got this kind of gap on the end where this microchip pokes out. We're just going to create that super fast right now. And I just also want to point out that a lot of this model will never be seen, because anytime you're going to see the cartridges, you're probably going to be concentrating on the labels, or you're going to be concentrating on whatever they're plugged into. For example, if you're looking at an Atari console with a cartridge plugged into it, you're probably going to be looking at the details on the console and not worrying about whether the microchip is the right dimensions on the inside. Okay, so the distance that is away from the end is probably actually okay. And I'll just move this back into place. So this is the microchip. I'm just going to make sure I can't select that just now. And that way I don't accidentally select it and move it at any point. But now I can actually reference it when I'm doing some work in here. So what I want to do is, first of all, I'm going to think about how am I going to do this? How am I going to get the details on this right? Do I want to model it and add all the bevels manually? Do I want to model it and do a subdivision surface kind of workflow using edge loops to control bevels and the smooth edges and things like that? I'm just going to get the main kind of structure out of the way first. So kind of judge the thickness of the plastic here and extrude this in so our microchip is poking out. I'm going to create an edge loop all the way around, and you can see that the microchip is not kind of in the right position for the edge loop. That's fine. We're going to add in another edge loop in the middle. I'm going to bevel this, let's see, so 6 edges. That's right there. Now I'm just going to move these edges into place. Again, I'm just kind of eyeballing this, looking inside the cartridge to kind of figure out where these are. Since this is going to be symmetrical, we could mirror it, or we could do the kind of lazy way of mirroring it and just select edges on opposite sides and scale them out. And that's kind of the cheap way of doing a kind of mirror thing. Okay, so I've obviously not lined that up properly in Photoshop, but that's fine. As long as it's kind of lined up here. Let's go to object mode. Obviously we can't grab that microchip. We can fix that later, that's not an issue. I'm just going to add the inset on the end here first. So the ends of these cartridges have this inset extruded in a little bit, and the same on the top. Let's get rid of this transparent mode so we can see what we're doing here. I think on this top half, since I already have these edges in place, I'm just going to create an edge and bevel it out once. Okay, then we can just select these faces, and this can be our extrude for the top. Just extrude that in a little bit. Now, these should actually line up. So let's just undo this part. Let's add an edge loop around here. Add an edge loop around here. Grab that and extrude this in. You know, the way this is working so far, everything is in quads, so maybe we will do a subdivision surface kind of smoothing on this instead of doing manual bevels. We'll just see how it goes. If it's not working with subdivision surfaces, then we'll move to manual bevels or the bevel modifier. So we want that pretty subtle. Okay, so those labels are lined up, and that's the way they should actually be. They do curve around here, which is one reason I'm thinking of doing subdivision surface. Let's see, now we need to move some lines. This line, all the way around, we are going to bevel once. And we're going to move some of it down. This face is going to get moved to here. I'm also going to scale it out. Now that's kind of annoying me now. Let's jump back to the outliner quickly. Make this selectable. Back to object mode, grab this. We need wires so we can see what we're doing here. We need that whole thing selected. Okay, I'm going to scale it down a little bit in X, just so it fits in that gap. Go back to object mode. Select this, edit mode. We're going to select our face again, scale this up. So our microchip fits inside it. Take another little look inside the cartridge. We need more edges. Need an edge here. Need an edge here. Select those two edges and scale them in on X. And just see where this takes us. Yeah. I had a different idea of how I was going to do this, and it's kind of messed me up a little bit. So these need to be scaled out. A little bit on X. Actually, yeah, I'm really not liking the way that looks. Okay, we'll go back to where that was there. Again, I'll just quickly jump over to this model here. And I'm just going to move it into place. Scale it down a little bit. Okay, so what I did want to do was I wanted to move a bunch of these edges down. I think I need to actually split them. They should technically be split anyway. This is actually where there's a gap in the model. I need to make sure I don't select the back ones. So there's actually a gap in the model here. So I'm just going to go in, I'm going to delete these faces. We'll turn off the transparent mode, and now we have to just go in and make a couple of adjustments. So the way this looks in here is some of these edges are actually kind of down here. To let that microchip through. And then this edge is actually extruded down. This point and this point are actually kind of scaled out. There's this little angle here. It actually does it on the bottom as well. But what I'll do is I'll just do the other part here. I'm just kind of jumping between looking at the cartridge. Let's extrude this down so that kind of goes down there. And this edge should actually be straight. It should actually come up here. So I'm going to add in another edge loop here. Take that to there. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Again, I'm probably spending much longer on these little details than I really should, considering that you're never going to see these things. But this is what happens when I do modeling. I get sucked into doing little details, and that's something I definitely don't recommend to anyone that's wanting to work fast. You definitely don't want to get sucked into doing all these little details. Okay, so that's not terrible. This other shape here, this opening is it's probably a little bit too wide. But again, do you know what? No one's going to see these details, so I'm not going to bother too much about them. What I'm a little worried about is this edge here. I think that might actually work good as a control edge if we decide to do subsurface. Okay, anything else we want to do? You know, the one thing that we should probably do is, this is actually split all the way around the middle. So I'm just going to actually just grab all these edges all the way around till we get back there. Oh, we need this one as well. We need to shift select that one. I'm going to delete these. So now we have the kind of basis of this model here. What I want to do now is, do you know what, maybe I do want to put a face in here. No, do you know what, I'm going to stick with that. That is basically the shape of the cartridge. We have this model basically the way we want it. Oh, one other thing I do want to do, I want to grab these, I want to inset them a little bit, and I want to extrude them out because we have these little pins on the end, and they kind of skew in at the side, so grab here and scale them in a little bit on X. They might be a tad long. Let's take them back a touch. And I'm going to scale them down a little bit on Z as well. But that's pretty much an Atari cartridge right there. The microchip itself has some details on it. Again, I might stick a reference image on that at some point. I might not, who knows. What I do want to do is probably select the whole top half of this, separate it by selection. And that way I can just hide it really quickly and go in and look at this model here. So this is basically a flat shell. I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a solidify modifier onto this. I'm going to tweak the thickness. So the thickness goes on the inside, and that way nothing that I've already created on the outside is affected. Let's hide that. Unhide the top half. I'm going to do the same thing here as well. Okay, right, sorry, it was just because I was still in edit mode. It was just because I was still in edit mode, and that was the only problem we had there. Okay, so we've solidified those together. And we've basically got the shape of the thing. We need to add in a bunch of stuff though. We kind of need to close this gap for a start. So I'm just going to do this kind of manually. I'm just going to select everything, all the verts across the middle. Box select all that. I'm going to deselect. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to deselect all these verts, and I'm just going to move this down. Close that gap. Okay, that's not quite worked. We need to be in transparent mode. So box select, deselect. We need to be in the side view as well because we want to get all these ones. Just make sure we have all that selected. And now we should be able to move this down and just close that gap. Okay, now the interesting part, bevels. Okay, let's go in and manually bevel. I think one thing I do want to do is I think I want to join these together, so I'm going to have to actually go in and take those modifiers off because I want to join these back into one object, because this will just be a lot easier if I do. So Control J, join those together. Solidify modifier, back on. Okay, little issues here, thickness and things like that we have to adjust. Okay, so we want a positive thickness, but it only has to be very small, 2 mil. Okay, it just gives you the indication, I guess, that we have thickness. on this object. Okay, and let's just simply add in a bevel modifier to this object. Do we want to bevel this first? Let's try and bevel it first. Limit by angle. Let's increase this bevel quite a bit. You know what? I'm going to bevel this by weight. So beveling by weight is a really interesting tool. What it allows you to do is basically go in, select this edge, for example, which is one that I want to bevel by a fairly big amount. I'm going to select all these ones all the way around. These are going to be fairly big bevels. I can go in, do Control E and edge bevel weight, and then I just have this slider that lets me bevel these. So I do need to pump up my segments a little bit. I'm going to go to 5 on that, and then I can get something that's pretty smooth. So you can see from the geometry, we're not actually affecting the poly count here. The bevel is like a kind of just before render type effect. Let's actually, yeah, let's bump this to 5. The offset amount, this is the maximum offset just now because we have clamp overlap turned on. We could turn that off, and then we could just kind of manually do this overlap thing. If we know where these are going to start overlapping and it's becoming an issue, we can adjust it ourselves. I think just at this point that's becoming an issue. That's the biggest bevel on the entire model, by the way, so that's the one I'm doing first. Now everything else I do, I know is not going to be as big as that, so the chances of getting a massive amount of overlapping is going to be much smaller. I still need to adjust this offset a little bit, it seems, but let's bevel weight this again, and we're just going to get a little curve in there. There we go, adjust that thickness. Okay, that's not bad. We're going to do the same on this end. So this is, again, this is another tedious part. We're 20 minutes into this video, which is about half as much as yesterday. And we're just adding the finishing touches to the model. All the modeling's done. As far as texturing goes, I mean, there's flat plastic on it. We did plastic yesterday. So we don't necessarily have to look at a lot of plastic stuff again today. Let's see, we want to do this all the way around. Now remember, this model is split, which is why we're going to have to do a bunch of manual beveling on some of these parts. Oh, now we're getting some tear in there. We're getting some tear in there. So in this case, instead of doing bevel width, we're going to do a manual bevel. And let's see if we can figure out why this is tearing. I think it's essentially just this offset is messing this up a little bit. Yes, okay, right. So yeah, I know exactly why that's tearing. When we add in these new beveled edges, these new ones that appear in the corners, you're not getting the same treatment as the rest of the model. So we just have to go in and make sure we have these selected. Hopefully this is the only time we'll have to do this. And we'll just bevel weight these until that kind of fixes itself. So you can see that's basically fixed there now. Let's just have a double check at this. We need to adjust our normal, our auto smooth. We want that smooth. Okay, let's do this end part here. And I think after that, we'll just call it a day on this model. I'll just throw on some really quick materials to it. I want to get all these inner edges all the way around. Okay, so I think that's actually everything. Okay, so no, we don't want to actually bevel those, we want to bevel weight these. Okay, we're getting that same tearing issue there, so I'm going to try an actual manual bevel. Okay, I think that actually worked out a lot better than last time. Okay, that's fine. Everything else hidden in there is not going to be seen, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. The only other thing we need to do is like add a tiny little box, not a plane, because you want it to have thickness. Paper has thickness, but you want to add in like a label that you can UV unwrap. Oh, we do have one little issue down here, so let's quickly fix that. I'm going to select this edge, this edge, this edge, bevel edge weight, and just fix that manually. Has this one got the same issue? Nope, that one's fixed. Another just quick check around the model. We appear to be okay. Okay, so let's have a quick look at materials. There's two materials essentially on this model. Jump into shading. I'm just going to pause for 2 seconds. Okay, so we want to create two simple materials on this. So again, it's the same as yesterday. We're going to have shiny plastic and we're going to have black plastic. So the shiny plastic is just going to be very dark grey, not black. The roughness is going to be down a fair bit. Maybe to about that much. I think I found when I did the final render yesterday that the shiny material was actually, it wasn't shiny enough. It was just a little bit too diffuse. So that's fine there, that's not too bad. Okay, the next material we want to make, and let's just go to our material setting, is going to be the rough material, rough plastic. Again, base color, dark grey, not black, dark grey. The roughness again is going to be down pretty low, and again I'm going to do the same as I did yesterday. I'm going to add in a noise texture, scale this up a fair bit. Do this bump node in here, plug the factor into the height into the normal. Now we do have to select a few of these faces, so I'm going to select all the faces that are actually going to be shiny, because they're the ones that I can just kind of quickly select, and I'm actually going to increase the size of the selection. Hopefully this will get all the ones I want. So increase that once. Okay, I have to grab just an extra couple. Let's just use circle select and see if we can grab all of these. Now you might think I'm missing some of these, but I'm not grabbing them. These are fake faces. Those are ones coming from the bevel. So we actually can't select those because they're not actually there. But trust me, we are still applying the correct material to them. Okay, so I think that's about everything. We've got a bunch on the top that we don't want to have selected. Yeah, and a bunch there we don't want to have selected as well. I'm not sure how we accidentally selected those, because we're not in transparent mode, so we shouldn't actually be selecting those. Okay, I think that's all the ones we want to have shiny. So assign shiny plastic, invert selection, assign rough plastic. Okay, and let's just go off here. We need to adjust our strength, about 0.2. That actually looks pretty decent so far. We've not really done anything to it. Little issue in here. Let's see. Press the wrong buttons there for some reason. Okay, is that issue happening in this corner as well? It is happening in this corner. So let's jump into our settings here. Material. Okay, there we go. So in case you didn't know what I did there, is when the bevel modifier works and it creates new faces, it automatically applies a material to them. -1 was the material it was applying to these new faces, but that's not the material I wanted. I want the material 2 kind of thing. So shiny plastic, is what it was trying to apply it to. I want rough plastic applied to it. You just have to kind of tweak that setting until it works. Now that one's kind of messed up now, so let's just jump in, adjust this material and see if we can get this material to flip. So material 0. Okay, so that's a little bit annoying. One of them is working and the other one's not working. Unfortunately, the best way I can think of to fix that would be to have 2 bevel modifiers on our model. Since this is hidden in the inside, I'm just going to fix the top half of the model and, worry about the rest another day. Okay, so that's pretty much the model done. I think maybe that rough plastic might be a little bit too shiny. So let's bump up the roughness on that a little bit. And I think that's actually pretty decent. Again, I'm not going to spend a massive amount of time rendering or lighting this. What I do want to do is I want to add in a little label, but I'm just going to do that very quickly. Probably not during this video. What I might do is actually just design a little label for the Modeler Day 30-day challenge and just stick that on it and render it out. One thing I will do is I will grab this microchip and I'm just going to create a subsurface material that's just slightly towards like this yellow colour. Now our background scene at the moment is a kind of outdoor scene, as you can see from our HDRI. If we go into EV render mode, we should be able to get something that's actually a little bit more. That's actually too subsurface. Let's take that subsurface down a little bit. We just want to get that kind of slightly translucent effect you get on a microchip. I'll probably model in some little gold contacts in there, and I'm going to fix these other material issues. Actually, this end should also be the shiny black material. I'm going to fix all those. I'm going to do that for the final render. But as I said, this is a modeling challenge, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. Let's just do a very, very quick render. So EV, render, ambient occlusion, bloom. Don't really need bloom. Screen space reflections, don't really need those either. Film, transparent. I like to do my renders on a black background. Use nodes. Render this out. We need a camera. And you all know what I'm going to say. First thing you do when you open up Blender, delete the camera. Okay, I guess we should take a render of this from an angle that doesn't show the mistakes. So let's render this out and see what we get. Okay, I mean, looks terrible. We don't have a great HDRI. We don't have a good reference image there. This roughness is too rough. Let's take that strength down to 0.1. Basically half it. Render again. Definitely a little bit better. I think the size of this needs to be bumped up a bit. Another quick render. That's actually a massive improvement. That is much, much better. Jump into the compositing. I'm just going to quickly stick this on plain black. So input RGB, black, mix these together, alpha into the factor. I'm going to zoom out, Alt V. Oh no, sorry, V on its own to zoom out. Let's get rid of this. Joint areas, thing. Label. Yeah, it's not going to look good until we get the label on it. I'll probably fire in a light there as well and maybe do a couple of other little bits. Ambient occlusion pass should be in here. Let's render this out. Let's going to mix these together again. And I'm going to take this and plug this into ambient occlusion. That should still be plugged in to image. Multiply. So just adds a little bit of ambient occlusion in there. Just a little bit. Obviously, yeah, I still have to do the label and stuff, but that's pretty much it for today. So as a quicker video today, not much quicker. Hopefully you picked up one or two little techniques that you might want to use on your own. And again, sorry for rambling so much. This is my process. You know, I'm not doing this as a tutorial. I'm just doing it as something to motivate you to spend a little time modeling every day, even if it's just half an hour or even 5 minutes. Just work on a little thing. Pick a little object on your desk and just break it down into primitives. How do I fix this? How do I bevel this edge? How do I get this curve? Just figure it out. And in no time, you'll be a master at Blender. Okay, so here's the final render. As you can see, I've added the labels. I adjusted the lighting and I adjusted the materials a little bit. And I'm pretty happy with the result for, say, about 40 minutes modeling and texturing and lighting all together. So hopefully I'll see your attempts at this, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 4 of a model a day in May.